It was the kind of day that starts heavy. Gray skies hung low over the city, and rain slicked the sidewalks like a warning. But inside the break room of Dixon's Auto and Supply, James Carter cradled a miracle in his arms. A tiny girl with her thumb tucked into her mouth and curls pressed gently to his shoulder. Ella, age 4, was sleeping. Finally, James had worked the early shift stocking shelves and helping customers, juggling phone calls and deliveries since dawn. His usual sitter canceled last minute. Her son had a fever, and James couldn't afford a backup. He'd begged his manager for understanding just this once. Just keep her quiet. The manager had grumbled, don't make it a habit. He hadn't, he wouldn't, but now, 3 hours in and with one arm constantly rocking his daughter, he was being called to the manager's office. "Carter," said Greg Dixon, the owner's son, without looking up from his phone, "we can't have this. You bringing your kid to work. It's not professional." James shifted Ella gently to his other shoulder. "I understand, sir. Just had no choice today. It won't happen again. No, you're right, it won't." Greg snapped, "Because you're done here." James blinked. "Wait, fired. You're a good worker, but this isn't daycare. It's business. I've got liability to think about." Ella stirred, rubbed her cheek on her dad's shirt, and kept sleeping. James nodded slowly, swallowing the rising panic. He didn't argue. He just turned, still holding his daughter, and walked out the door. What he didn't know was that someone had been watching. Across the street, behind the tinted window of a coffee shop, stood Rachel Dixon, Greg's older sister and co-owner of the Dixon family business, recently returned from managing their branches in Vancouver. She had stopped in for tea before heading into the office. Her phone buzzed with updates from staff, but her eyes had been drawn to a young man in a worn jacket, gently bouncing a sleeping child as he was told, quite clearly, to leave. Something in the image froze her, the quiet dignity, the father's protective stance, the child completely at peace despite the world falling apart around them. Rachel didn't hesitate. She grabbed her coat and crossed the street. Outside, James was staring into the rain. He had no umbrella and no idea what to do next. "Excuse me," came a woman's voice. "Are you James Carter?" He turned, wary. "Yes." "I'm Rachel Dixon, Greg's sister. I saw what just happened." James tensed. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene." "You didn't," she said quickly, "but my brother did." She looked at Ella, who now stirred and blinked sleepy eyes at the woman. "She's beautiful." Rachel added softly. "How old?" "4." James replied, gently patting Ella's back. "Her mom passed 2 years ago. It's just us now." Rachel's voice cracked before she steadied it. "I was raised by a single dad. I know something about how hard that can be." They stood in silence as cars passed and rain trickled off awnings. "I'm not here to pity you," Rachel continued. "I'm here to offer you a job." James blinked. "What?" "I run the operations side of Dixon's. My brother inherited the front desk. I've seen how he manages people. Frankly, he shouldn't. But we need someone with your work ethic, and we need someone who understands responsibility." James stared at her, unsure if it was some cruel joke. Rachel smiled. "Start Monday. Full-time, better pay, flexible schedule, and we'll work out something for childcare. Maybe even a daycare partnership. It's something I've wanted to propose for a while." "Why?" he asked, voice tight. "Why would you do this for me?" Rachel looked at Ella again. "Because sometimes, when life gives you the chance to make something better, you take it, no excuses." James couldn't speak. The lump in his throat had taken his voice. Ella reached toward Rachel with a shy little wave. Rachel smiled and waved back. 1 year later, Dixon's Auto and Supply had changed. There was now a small, clean playroom in the back office. Rachel's initiative. Employees with kids could work with peace of mind. James was now warehouse supervisor, managing a small team and mentoring younger hires. Every morning, he dropped Ella off at preschool on the company's dime. Greg, he'd been moved to a less customer-facing role. Kindness, it turned out, had a stronger business model, but for James, it wasn't about promotions or titles. It was about that one moment when the world could have pushed him further down, and instead, a stranger reached out and pulled him back up. Because sometimes the most powerful act of kindness isn't loud or heroic. It's just seeing someone, really seeing them, and choosing to help.